Hello again. May the 24th today. And as you're listening to this, you probably feel it. The energy shifted most dramatically in these hours. I'm just in the middle of it here. Mars entering Aries, just on the heels of Jupiter, who entered Aries on the 10th of May. And the moon just an hour ago, and Mars will be in here by 11:17 p.m. in Universal Time. That is here in the western part of North America in the late afternoon. So you will definitely feel that shift. It is a flammable energy. It is super charged, activated. Mars in its own sign. Mars, the activator, the principle of action, of willpower. Together with Jupiter, this is decisive action. So we might have feeling like things were not really moving for the last few weeks with Mars in Pisces. So the energies were very subdued in a way, undercurrent, but now everything is coming back into the open, and even more so. Now, this is a super powerful chart here, and I want to put it into context of what's going on. First, I want to say again the 24th, 25th degree of Taurus and Scorpio, which have been building up. Both the eclipses had those degrees strong, and a few other charts, which is really building upon each other and bringing the energy step by step to a more powerful manifestation. Interesting is there's a few things that are really interesting in this chart, so I broke it down a little bit. So it started yesterday, actually, in the heliocentric geometry. We have this powerful stellium here right now closing in on one another. Actually, Mars and Saturn, I said it before, will meet tomorrow, the 25th, starting a whole new cycle heliocentrically. We'll get to that in a moment. So before the first conjunction was Juno with Mars. Let's first look at these three together. This is putting us to action. That's what it really is. It's a deep activation, and also kind of a sobering, realizing where we really are in this world. It is all it's the awakening, which is really kicking into higher gear. Juno and Mars particularly, this is the activation of that team attitude of bringing all the pieces together of the puzzle in the Virgo dwad, that is between 17, 30 and 20. So it's all about being practical, down to the point, methodical, step by step. Jupiter is closing in on Neptune. That will be exact in the first days of June, I guess on the 7th, if I'm not mistaken. So there is still a kind of a building up to what Jupiter and Neptune are at best symbolizing is the birth of a whole new vision. So this is we are in those final steps to really get that all into its perfect mode. And then, well, I mean, this is the first thing I should really point out. In the global chart for Greenwich, and again, if you're curious about why I'm choosing Greenwich, it's just by experience, I would say. It just has shown that Greenwich works. If you go back to my last few recordings, there I elaborated on it a little more. I just want to show you here quickly. That is the okay, let me just go here to the right place. Here's my channel. So here you see on this one I particularly zoomed in on the Greenwich location, how powerful it is on this one here too. So if you like to look through my past recordings, they're all still very relevant, because I'm always speaking about what's to come, and some of these cycles are very long. So Mars, Juno, Saturn in Aquarius, in Uranus sign, and Uranus just entered the Scorpionic dwarf. So Scorpio is a big mystery. It is unraveling that mystery, bringing it into form. It is always the center degrees of each sign which are the most powerful, the most balanced in a way, bringing in that opposite fractal energy. And also we are getting into this exact heliocentric opposition of Hygeia and Uranus, which we also will look at in a minute. So which is one of the key aspects of this year. Geocentrically we'll have 3 of exact oppositions. This is the heliocentric, which is just coming up in a few days. So there's lots of kind of accumulation going towards a more strong and clear shift of focus, I would say. So this was the beginning, and then we had a few hours later yesterday. Well, that's the geocentric chart. What is interesting in this one, that is that same moment. You see 10:09:53. This is the heliocentric geometry, which is the purely energetic. That's what we are feeding on from the sunlight, all the charged particles which are sustaining our lives. If the sun would go out in 8 minutes, it would be dead and dark here. If not immediately, but within a few hours, Earth would cool down and would be gone. So we are constantly fed by this energy. That is the energetic coding of it, that frequency of the geometry of the sun's alignment with the planets. That's why the heliocentric is always at the very root of everything. And then the geocentric is how these energies are perceived, how they manifest. And beautiful here, this Moon Juno conjunction right at that moment when Juno was heliocentrically conjunct Mars. This is a big confirmation that yes, it is all about bonding together, working together, finding ways to smart ways around all the obstructions which are going on, and the deceits and the lies. And naturally here, geocentric, we have Mars with Jupiter here over the edge of the sign. Still, that was yesterday, but this conjunction is definitely has already been active. Then let's move on to the next one. It's really an intense sequence of energetic shifts building up to the final one in this week, which will be the Mars-Jupiter conjunction on Friday. That will be the 29th. Then yes, Chiron. Okay, Chiron changed hexagrams yesterday to hexagram 51 is the shock thunder. Now we can think of that whoever still is asleep will now really be shaken awake. It gets way more dramatic of what is coming. It is interesting that in this ingress chart we have Uranus here at the bottom of the chart, totally re-emphasizing, yes, that's what it is, and Uranus will move forward here over that cusp of that 4th house of this initiation chart to 1855, where it will station and then go backwards. So this chart is valid till September 15, that's how long Chiron will have its first dip into this energy, eventually getting stationary and turning backwards. Then interesting also that in this chart I found the equatorial point was exactly between Saturn and Pluto, which is that being pushed towards transformation. It's kind of a pressure zone, and this is has been definitely activated in early 2020 when the two planets had their conjunction, and this ever since has been a major theme. It's a real pressure towards manifestation. It's like a blacksmith hammering things in place, making it really strong, and you know, when you have a really good quality sword has been hammered for intense long hours to really compact that metal. That's what this Saturn-Pluto energy feels like. We are in the blacksmith's office, whatever you call that, workshop. So then the next one, right on its heels, was Venus-Aries conjunction. That was just earlier today. Venus is the Amazon. It's the fierce push for harmony, if you want. It's and Venus in that sense is not being shy of speaking up and being loud, particularly in this combination with Aries. I found it super interesting that we have Chiron here again, T-squaring the ICMC. And what did I write down here furthermore? I think I didn't really write much down about this chart. Okay, but Hygeia here at the 7th house cusp, super interesting together with Radamantis. Yes, it will be about health, bringing justice to health to all the victims of that scam. That is very, very big on our minds in the next weeks and months. This is then the next moment, also this morning, when when Vesta entered Pisces. Now this is again a bigger one. Vesta in Pisces, what does that mean? Vesta, first of all, is where we serve, where we put all our energies towards a greater goal. Pisces is the most idealistic of the 12 signs, and this will truly bring forth a whole new level of service to a higher purpose. We are ready to go the extra mile in that sense. Also, naturally, the downside of this is it can we can face extremism and what's it called? All kinds of fanatics are becoming more strong under this energy too. But it is definitely shifting the whole level up a level together with all that Mars and Jupiter energy, and that is where we're just getting here now in sequence, and another 2 hours later, that's where we are right now as I speak. Interesting in this chart is, well, I mentioned it already, 24 degrees here, which is kind of the culmination of that long pile-up of structures, the different eclipses and such. Also, Mercury still in a close conjunction with Sedna. And again, this is the theme of these couple months. Actually, it goes into early July, when Mars will then finally enter Taurus. So for the next 5-6 weeks, this chart is definitely most active. Mercury Sedna, yes, it is that diving into deeper sources of information. It's being pushed to see the facts. And Sedna is not giving in that sense. Sedna is very captivating, very deep, profound, pushing all these mysteries into people's faces. It is happening at a pace which everybody can take, as slow as it sometimes seems. It is for everyone exactly the right pace. It is that dynamics of pull and push and again that forging of our energies, because we are becoming more motivated by the pressures which are put on us. It becomes more urgent. Everything is more crucial, for survival. Yeah, you get the picture. It is these difficult aspects which really kick our ass, if you want. So yes, then tomorrow will be the heliocentric Mars-Saturn conjunction, and we are just pushing up one level again at a time. This will set the stage for what's coming on Friday as I speak. That will be kind of the culmination of the week. You see, that is the 29th, and what we see here is again the same degrees. That's exactly 4 days apart. The 29th and Mars and Jupiter will converge here. Where are they? Well, that's the heliocentric chart. Okay, let me see. I guess I want to shift that. Give me 1 sec. Because that's, yeah, I'm always playing with these heliocentric and geocentric. As you know, I mean, it is 2 different levels, but let's just look at the geocentric for a moment. Right here we are at 3 degrees 19 in Aries. That will meet, and again Uranus right here at the 10th house cusp. It couldn't be more clear just by this chart alone that it gets really explosive and wild and dramatic. As I pointed out, yes, this is really a whole big level up to what we were cruising in the last weeks and months. I mean, we always think it's already at an extreme intensity, but it gets more intense. And it reminds me also of Randy Kramer, who said already 2-3 years ago, I heard him say it will get crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier, and they couldn't end. He said it probably 12 times. He is an insider, military kind of whistleblower. If you want to look him up, he's quite a source. Randy Kramer. And well, anyway, on that note, it's definitely getting more crazy. I found this nice quote here this morning in my Facebook feed. I thought I want to share this in this context. Some people are going to need things to get a lot more crazier and a lot more obvious before they begin to question anything and start down the path of awakening. For the rest of us, it's a painful experience to interact with these people and witness their attachment to the illusion, but it's just how it is. We are all one, and we understand that, and we have the empathy and the understanding. I mean, these are MK Ultra victims. These people have been. These are really victims of mind control at its worst through television. and through all these other things which are put in our water, in the chemtrails, and you name it. I mean, it's a real cocktail, which the EMFs definitely are a big part in that too. So we are having patience with these people, and it is slowly, steadily happening. It's like water dripping on a stone. It might take a long time, but eventually the water will win and the rock will be eroded. That's how it goes. Now, on this level speaking, I wanted to add this quickly in. Today is the 24th of May, and we are on day 6 in this new count. We started on the 19th of May, entering a new 260-day sequence, and it happens that the last day of the month will be number 13, and then with June we start off into the second wave. Now, this first wave, the last 13 days of May, so to say, is the dragon's energy. It is setting the pace for what's to come, putting in the foundations and planting the seeds, and then from June 1st we will go for the first time into the depth of it all, under the shamans, the wisdom of the shaman, the jaguar, diving into the subworlds and understanding the connections. But that's still to come. But it shows you a little bit of the structure here of the Mayan calendar. That's where we are in this system. And the red days are portal days, by the way. These are especially powerful, important days where there's an overlay of galactic energy. So yes, Mars-Jupiter conjunction on the 29th, that will be kind of the culmination. Let's roll back a little bit again to tomorrow's Mars-Saturn conjunction. And again, you see they are connected. They are one unit, Mars with Saturn, Mars with Jupiter on the geocentric level. So Mars, Saturn, Jupiter is really the three planetary forces which are here tying into each other. Saturn and Jupiter naturally are the two big social planets which are shifting societies around, which are bringing big revolutions and fundamental shifts and changes in our economy and things like that. With Mars involved, Mars is the one again who brings action, who puts in willful impulses and sets vectors and pushes things in the right direction. So this is a super activation which we are seeing happening this week, really in line with the dragon's energy of the Mayan calendar. Again, here we see the trio. That is now when Mars has been pulled up with Saturn, even just as I said a couple days before, it was here having its conjunction with Juno. Each of these moments are super important as they are setting the stage for a whole new cycle. Mars-Saturn, it takes about 2 years or so for them to meet again here in the heliocentric picture. So let's see what have I written down here. Interesting here is this one. Look at that. Setna here crowning high up in the sky in a most perfect T-square with the Greenwich horizon here on the energetic picture. And because Setna is so far away, this doesn't really change much. If we look into the geocentric, you see it's by mere 3 minutes of arc. Setna is slightly in a different angle from where we look, whereas if you were standing on the sun and looking, that's the difference in geometry. So this is again the heliocentric picture, and I want also to say again, it is that 18th degree of Taurus, which we had in an earlier chart, which I guess it was this one here. Was okay. Yeah, this one it was. You see here we had when Chiron entered that segment of 51, the thunder below, thunder above, of shaking this world awake. And the center hexagrams are the most intense of each sign. Let me just show you this quickly for those of you who are new. This is based on the human design system. This is the overlay of the 64 hexagrams. And what I'm looking at here, we are looking at okay, I just lost my thread for a moment. Well, if you could tell me, then you would. I know. Let me see where I was going with that. Right, 51. That's the one. 51 with. Here we go. Okay, sorry about that. The train went off the tracks. Okay, here we are. 51. Thunder below, thunder above. As I say, it's all this wisdom of how the 64 hexagrams interact, work together with the zodiac. That is human design system channeling by Ra-Ur, who was received in 1987. Powerful integration of these different systems. So you can find that actually, if you're curious. I have it on my old website, which I can't update anymore, thecosmoswithin.org, and there you will find it under Zodiac and I Ching. So yes, let's go back to this chart here, with Uranus now up high here, when Mars and Jupiter will converge, and when Mars and Saturn are coming together, both times, almost same, 1855 again. That's where Saturn will maximize out the most advanced degree it will reach this year before going back into retrograde mode. So Uranus will be definitely here charging up this degree for a long time, and this Mars-Saturn heliocentric chart, naturally this is again a beginning chart, is, as I said, for the next 2 years this will be active. Mars and Saturn together regrouping the energies, resetting the goals. It is almost like a crowbar, you could think of. It's really hard, and clear boundaries are set in a new ways in Aquarius, in the sign of social involvement, of working together, of inspiring each other. So at the same time here, you see Venus is having an exact conjunction with Astrea this time in the heliocentric. Astrea is the one who's ready to roll its sleeves back and get involved. So this is similar to what we had with as we saw in the geocentric with Venus and Aries. It's a very similar energy of dedicated involvement with what has to be done, being a voice of reason, a voice of truth, and not shying back from creating some discomfort. This is important. It needs that little bit. We have to be courageous. Nothing can be lost at this time. We already have one, as you probably know. It's just a matter of fully manifesting. We are from the future. We have come back. We are time travelers. There's no question in that, and actually, if you're not yet aware of that, you will soon find out. So that's the geocentric moment when tomorrow Mars and Saturn will have their conjunction, and the moon between Mars, Jupiter and Chiron. This is a big crew, a big work crew here of pushing in the right direction. The moon in fire sign Aries, naturally that's that initiating spark, which I want to just say, share some thoughts I had. It's like it's hard to see at this point how many people are truly awake. I guess we're all kind of hesitant to touch that hot potato, but there might be way more people than what we think, and this will come really into the open over the next few weeks. It will catch on. People will find out about each other, and it will be a true it's really like a bonfire going off. That's what I see with all that energy in Aries. Very flammable, very explosive. It just needs a little spark. It's almost like I had that allegory, and I would just want to share it. It's like you have a pool of water, and now just think if it's possible to do that. I mean, I know it's not, but just for the sake of the argument, if one atom at a time, that water will be changed into fuel, one atom at a time, and then comes the moment you throw in a match, and all of a sudden the whole thing goes off. It was water before, you didn't suspect, you didn't know, and all of a sudden each atom has secretly, without being visibly noticed, changed, and then you throw in that little tiny spark, all it needs, and the whole thing goes off. That's kind of where we're heading, and I truly think it will be August when the whole show will really blow off, when things will get so transparent, so obvious that nobody can really stay asleep anymore. Again, you have that Sedna Mercury conjunction here, with the retrograde Mercury still kind of absorbing all the understanding that I might not really know the full picture. That's kind of that retrograde Mercury I'm getting. It's that openness to that something is not exactly what it is. And then after June the 3rd, when Mercury will move direct again, it will revisit Sedna once more, and that is probably around the time then when there will be a real break of the dam, and a great number of people more will come onto the bandwagon of truth. So it is a steady growing number, and it is we're gaining traction, we're gaining strength. Again, that perfect T-square, I want to point that out once more. This is just really beautiful. And then Vesta, which I just talked before in Pisces, that dedication to a higher reality, service for something which is not yet fully visible. So this is really catching on, and we are inspiring each other, and we are losing all fear. That's what it truly is. It's about transmuting fear. Fear of punishment, fear of that they will come after you, fear that whatever you say to somebody, they will come back and hit you on the head for it. Fear has to be eradicated from this planet. That's how we will win. It will be transformed into love. That's truly what it is. So this is the heliocentric. Now let's look at this moment. No, we did that already. Sorry. Let's move on to the next one. Yes, as I said, the 29th. I just got them in sequence because they're really working as a team. This time the moon is conjunct Mercury. Beautiful. Yet another confirmation. The moon coming in, moon and Mercury is a true focus on perception, on observing, seeing how things come to play with one another, and the moon also approaching Sedna naturally, which brings in the depth, really the going to the bottom of it all. It's that deep rabbit hole you're pulled down. That's Sedna, you could say. Sedna again, the one which takes 11,400 years. A deep space diver who brings in whole bunch of secrets, mysteries, and also links us back to a time before recorded history. Last time Sedna was here, yes, was probably something like 10,000 before our time count, around the time probably of Atlantis. That's according to Plato's notes that which he traveled Egypt, and while he was there was still the library in Alexandria standing, which then was burned down a couple centuries later. So Plato got original information from visiting this library in Alexandria in Egypt, and he is the only recorded source of Atlantis in that sense. And yes, that is roughly 12,000 years ago when the demise occurred. I mean, it could be more than that, but that's kind of it doesn't really matter. Time doesn't really matter at this point. It's just somewhere deep in our past. So let's now look at a couple more charts here in the between. So on Friday, actually, I said that wrongly before. The Mars-Jupiter conjunction will be next Sunday exact. So we're really building up to next Sunday, and then the week starting with the 30th will be getting us going in an even higher pace, in a stronger kind of conviction that we are onto something here. We're definitely onto something here. There is no question. What you see out there in control structures, these are just silhouettes which are left. They have no real power anymore. They just pretend, and they might exaggerate and make them seem larger. That's just their final attempts to trick us into obeying and following orders, and you name it. Anyway, so this is next Sunday, and then on Friday we have the Venus Pisces ingress heliocentrically. This is a beautiful one. This will soften down the Venusian energy and make it more subtle, more universal. Venus and Pisces is compassion at its best. So this aspect will become stronger, and what again stands out here, and that's I guess why I showed the earlier chart of Venus and Aries meeting in the geocentric geometry. I just want to roll back to this chart quickly just to illustrate it. I guess it's this one. Nope. Where is it hiding? I have too many charts. Here we have it. See? Here on the 24th of May, as seen from Earth, Venus and Aries were in the exact same degree, and then 3 days later, and we look from the angle of the Sun. No, it's just too many charts. Okay, here we go again. Yes. The angle you will get from the Sun here, Aries is in this direction and Venus is here. So it's really these close planets to Earth. Yes, they appear in a totally different place because Earth is quite a distance from the Sun. We have a totally different perspective. It's comparable to if you walk around a tree and take pictures from two different angles. you will see a different tree. That's how simple as it is. So anyway, but the fact that this moment when Venus will enter Pisces, featuring Aries so strongly, means that despite that gentleness Venus has, as it will express through Pisces for a few weeks, despite that there will be some fierce underlying motivation to work for truth, to work for the Great Awakening, and to serve that energy and to fuel it. It's that holy flame which is now, which is Vesta, which is now expressing in the geocentric through Pisces. Also, you see here we have it again. That's now the same moment here in the geocentric picture when Venus will enter Pisces. Yes, it might be a little bit confusing as I'm jumping kind of here from one perspective to the other, but that's how it works. They work together. It's the same moment, just seen from two different angles, and it's kind of like a stereo perception. That's what makes it so much more possible to see how these energies will work, how they will manifest, because you need to see the background and the foreground together and put them into perspective. So anyway, this moment when Venus enters heliocentric Pisces, this is when on the geocentric level we have a Moon-Venus conjunction. I liked that a lot. And actually right here in the first house, again for the global chart, for that fractal of Greenwich, which is that place which can represent the whole planet. Moon-Venus in Aries in conjunction, applying, that means the moon still comes closer to Venus, however it's really already close, it's only something like 17 minutes of arc. So this is a powerful connection, and again it is that goodness, that empathy of celebration, of seeing that things will work out. It's really the moment when you truly focus on the silver lining of the clouds, of the dark clouds. Yes, they're still there. They will still be hanging around for a while. Again, there's a reason for that. As I said earlier, it is necessary to some degree. It is that incentive of awakening. That's why we need all these difficult situations still, it seems, and when they will not be needed anymore, they will be gone, as simple as that. But we will work steadily towards that place. So right, last but not least, I have a few more charts. I know it gets a bit long again, I'm sorry, I just can't help. Just too many things to share. Anyway, so on the 27th, on that same day, a few hours later, we will have the exact heliocentric Uranus-Hygeia opposition. Hygeia again is health, well-being, serendipity. And as I said before, there's 3 geocentric oppositions of these two this year, 2022. So it's one of the trademarks of this year. It is the awakening to what's happening to our health. I guess that's at the most basic level what this means. I mean, all these symbols have multiple ways of manifesting themselves. Another one is that certainly that we will recognize Uranus as an amazing spark of inspiration in the mid of Taurus. Taurus being the most bodily, physical sign of all. So Uranus is truly putting seeds into the ground, allowing its kind of very highly charged energy and super fast pulsing frequency to kind of tone down and become visible in the 3D world. That's what it means, and it is definitely the start of a whole new manifestation. The opposition is always the high point in a cycle, so it seems, or we could say that for that many years it has been building up, as naturally Hygiea is much faster than Uranus, so this is their culmination, and now for the next few years there will be the release of all that which has been already accumulated, similar to a full moon. So what stands out in this chart is naturally again, I mean, I say it that way, but I'm definitely not surprised by seeing that it is Chiron. And even more so, this same moment, if we look at it from the geocentric view, look at that. I mean, it can't be more clear. Chiron 15, 16, that's as seen from Earth in the exact crown degree over Earth's globe, 0 degree longitude, where the western and the eastern hemisphere is defined. Chiron right up here. Very clearly, this is all about healing, about bringing things back to where they should be. And Chiron, as we know, is not an easy one to deal with, as it shakes us through to get rid of all which is wrong. It breaks things down to the essentials and brings us back into connection with who we truly are, removing layers and layers, and that's all which comes with it. And then, I mean, I could go on and on. Just one more thing here in this chart. Let me see if I wrote something down here. Well, I mean, it's again the center degrees of cardinal signs here. As I said before, the most balanced degrees. So it will be on one level a hard push, but with that Libra subnode of knowing where the fine line is, keeping the balance, making sure it's well received. And yes, naturally, this is just hours after what I shared before, that chart where we see Venus entry into Pisces heliocentrically. So here we had the moon at 2756, and in this chart the moon is now at 1 degree in Taurus, still in a conjunction to Venus. So as you see, all these coming days are super precious, super powerful. We're building a structure here. We're in this dragon energy, getting all the seeds planted, and it's springtime here in the northern hemisphere. So it totally is in line with what is happening organically, naturally already. And we are setting the stage for some real big drama to unfold over the next few months. Just a couple more charts I have, so bear with me. This, I just thought this was interesting as I stumbled over it. This will be the final opposition they will have, as seen from Earth, Hygiea and Uranus. It will be on September the 6th, and look at that. I mean, it can't go wrong at this point. It's right in the horizon of the Earth of Greenwich. And aside of that, the Moon-Pluto conjunction, I mean, gives it all away. It is power to the people. We will be in a different place in September than we are right now. There will be much water having gone down the river, if we say so. The world will be already in a very, very different place. Also, the Sun, Juno, and Australia opposition here. This is a powerful, powerful chart, and that's where we're heading to. And last but not least, I want to throw in one more chart here, which is the moment when Earth will be at its farthest distance from the Sun, which every year happens around the same days, July the 4th, July the 5th. It will be farthest away, and then in the early days of January it will be closest. If you have followed my channel, you know how important these moments are. This is really when history is re-anchored, things are reset. This will be a super powerful moment. I just want to add one more thing. Look at the 17th degree of Leo here and Aquarius, as well as the first degree here of Taurus and Scorpio. And if we just go back one last chart here, then you see this is where the Moon was in this chart here, and the heliocentric opposition of the two, and then the 17th degree of Aquarius and Leo, that has been strongly showing up everywhere. And you see, I mean, I didn't even point that one out. Uranus right overhead. Yes, this will be a very revolutionary few months, starting early July. It will be wild. There probably will be some major big things pushed our way too from the other side. They try their last jokers to play them, and they are not fun. It will be quite difficult for some people. I'm thinking Taiwan. Just want to say this much: around July 8, I see some major push in that direction. China probably trying to invade Taiwan. July the 8th is the date I have come up with. I will talk more about that in my next video. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining and listening, and if you are enjoying what I'm doing, please give it a like and subscribe, or even share it. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.